You may have noted that some people get sick more often than others. When an infectious disease is around your locality, there are some who remain healthy while others take you soon. Even though our body is attacked every day by several infectious agents, we do not succumb to every agent. Why is that? The answer lies in immunity of our body, which varies from individual to individual. Immunity is the overall ability of a host to fight the disease-causing organism. Immunity is of two types. First one, innate immunity. Second, acquired immunity. Innate immunity is something possessed since birth. It is a non-specific kind of defense. It provides different types of barriers to the entry of foreign agents to our body. 4 different types of barriers provided by innate immunity are physical barrier, physiological barrier, cellular barriers, and cytokine barriers. The skin on our body is the main physical barrier to entry of microbes. The mucous coating of the epithelial lining of respiratory, gastrointestinal, and urinogenital tract inside the body are also physical barriers to microbes as they trap them. Saliva in the mouth, HCl acid inside the stomach, as well as tear in the eyes act as a physiological barriers to microbial invasion. Our body also has certain types of leukocytes or white blood cell or WBCs such as monocytes, natural killers, lymphocytes, and polymorphonuclear leukocytes, also known as PML, neutrophils in blood. Together, they constitute a cellular barriers along with the macrophages in the tissue. They can also destroy microbes. Some virus-infected cell release protein called interferons that prevents the spread of infection in the body, thereby acting as a cytokine barrier in the body. On the other hand, acquired immunity is pathogenic specific. It depends on the body's memory. When a body encounters as bacterium for the first time, it produces a low intensity response called primary immune response and produces memory cells. However, when some bacterium attack again the memory cell, help to elicit a secondary immune response of high intensity. This response is also known as animastic response. Both primary and secondary immune responses are made possible by 2 special lymphocytes in our blood. First one, B lymphocyte, and second one is the T lymphocyte respectively. B lymphocyte produces protein to fight pathogens, whereas T lymphocytes help B cells to perform this task. The protective protein produced by B cells are called antibodies. Each antibody molecule has 4 peptide chains, 2 small and 2 longer ones. The 2 small chains are called light chains, while the 2 longer chains are called heavy chains. Therefore, an antibody is represented by H2Al2. IgA, IgM, IgE, and IgG are some examples of antibodies in our body. Acquired immunity or the acquired immune response is primarily of 2 types. First one, humoral immune response, and second one, cell-mediated immunity. It is the humoral immune response that is carried out by antibodies. Since antibodies are found in blood, it is called humoral immune response. The word humoral refers to blood or any body fluid. The cell mediated immune response can be best understood with the example of an organ transplant. When organs like the eye, heart, kidney, or liver fail, organ transplant is the only remedy. Thus, begin the search of the suitable healthy donor for transplantation. This is important because grafts or transplant cannot be made from just about any source, as the body will reject those grafts sooner or later. To find a perfect match, tissue matching and blood group matching are conducted before a transplant. The ability of the body to differentiate between the self and non-self while rejecting the graft is a cell-mediated immune response. It is an immune response that doesn't involve antibodies, but it involves the activation of macrophages as natural killer cells or NK antigen. Specific cytotoxic T lymphocytes and release of various cytokines that fights antigen. Patients who have all organs transplant have to take immune suppressant all their lives to inhibit their body's immune response against the transplant. Then again, based on whether the antibodies are produced inside or outside the body, immunity can be distinguished as active immunity or passive immunity. When the body is exposed to antigens such as living or dead microbes or other protein, it produces antibodies in response. This type of immunity is called active immunity, which is slow and takes time to reach its full effective response. When microbes gain access to the body during a natural infection, active immunity is induced. Consequently, the underlying principle of immunization plan is active immunity, where it is induced by deliberately injecting microbes into the body. On the other hand, passive immunity comes into play when ready-made antibodies are delivered directly to the body from external sources to protect it against the foreign agent. The antibody that a fetus receives from its mother through the placenta during pregnancy is an example of passive immunity. Likewise, during the initial days of lactations, mother milk contains a yellowish fluid called colostrum. It has adequate amount of antibody IgA. Therefore, mother's milk also provides passive immunity to babies. Did you know that even though passive immunity provides immediate protection to the body against the pathogen, the body doesn't develop any memory of the pathogen. This means that the body is at risk of being attacked by the same pathogen again in future. Therefore, immunity can be innate or acquired. It can also be either active if induced by an infection or a microbial attack, or passive that is provided with ready-made antibodies. Thank you.
I know gold is not enough.